Hi guys, in today's video I am sharing Mario birthday party decoration and cake inspiration. My oldest son loves a few things, but Mario was his first choice for his birthday party theme. So I went on Pinterest and searched for a few ideas, and these are the things that I looked at that I loved, and I'm like, okay, I will be able to do some of them, as well as I went on Amazon and searched, and I found this cutest little pack that basically was my whole decoration kit. And you guys, I have spent total of $25.28 for decorations, and here's the breakdown. On Amazon I bought one thing, and then in Target I bought three other things. And then for the cake was even more expensive than my decorations. I have spent $37.58, and to be fair, this was my first time using fondant, so I just bought it, and I did not feel like I want to be brave enough to make it myself, so I just bought it. And I think the fondant was the most expensive over there, but also it had chocolate coins. As you can see, it was like such a cool cake. My son was so excited for it, as well as I was super excited. So this is what we're working with. And then icing in the cake obviously was super inexpensive. I bought it at Target. But you guys, let's join me in the process of decorating and coming up with a few do-it-yourself ideas, as well as making the cake and decorating. So first things first, always start with cleanup to make sure that you have nice clean slate to do your work. And then my next project was to find Mario head drawing. I think that's what I searched for, so that I can recreate my transformer from last week. And if you guys did not see my last week's video, it was my other son's birthday, and he chose to have transformer party for his birthday. So we had a pre-made transformer door already, and this week we just had to remake the head. So I printed it out so that we have the head, and then obviously I painted it, colored it. And I know that the kids probably would have a lot of fun coloring, but I needed it to be colorful enough and precise enough so that it's visible. So I did it, and I printed out a few heads for them to color, so that was fun as well. So yes, I colored it and replaced transformer head to the Mario head. And I actually, on my Instagram stories, I was so proud of myself that I did a pun. I did say that Optimus transformed into Mario. How smart of me. And here is the kit that I got from Amazon. This is what it looked like in the packaging, how it came in. And when I opened it, these are the dessert toppers, balloons, and also the cake topper that I will assemble way later in the video. Now I needed to remove last week's decoration, so we just took it to the boys' room, and they had a lot of fun playing with these. So I guess more cleanup, and then more cleanup here in the kitchen because I needed to start the jello, so that is done as well. So I cleaned up the kitchen, and then I am going to rewash the little containers, little bowls that I bought at Dollar Tree probably last year, and I think I got 4 of them for $1. So I just rinsed them out because they were in the basement. I didn't use them for a long time. And as my containers were drying out a little bit, I wanted to start on the cake. So my son chose to use white cake and chocolate cake for his cake because I needed two mixes because I knew I will need a lot of cake. And I'm just using 9 by 13 baking pans because that's what I had. I don't have square ones, so I just used the rectangular ones to make the rectangles and then cut them. And well, basically I just followed the instructions on the box. And I always tell to myself that cake mix is basically a cake from scratch for me. Being a busy working mom of 3 little ones, I believe that using cake mix is such a blessing and a life hack for working moms because you can still involve your children to participate in the process of baking without spending extreme amount of time making it. And obviously making cake from scratch is awesome and fun, and if you can do it, do it, because I think all people have different limits on what they want to spend their time on, and for some people it's like a self-care part of their lives and creative outlet for them. So yes, do it. However, if this is not your main thing, cake mixes and cakes from the box are like the best thing ever. And now, as my water is almost boiling for jello and my containers dried out a little bit, now I'm just perfectly wiping them down so that they're nice and dry. And then I will make my instant jello again from the package. And I was a little bit sad that I wasn't able to involve my kids to help me out right now. But it was Thursday, I think, that I was making all of this. So my son had school day and I did not want to distract him from his school because we needed to stay on track. So he did his school and didn't even realize that I was doing all of this because, yes, I just didn't want to distract him and waste his time. But he definitely enjoyed seeing small snippets of it when he was having a break and helped me out throughout the day too. And with my jello, the instructions were 2 cups of boiling water and 2 cups of cold water. So for me, I knew that I would have to stick in the cupcake toppers in the jello. So I wanted it to be just a tiny bit firmer than your regular jello. So I put in just a touch less water than the instructions said, so the jello can be just a tiny bit firmer. Now moving on to the most difficult project out of all of them. You guys, I saw this idea on Pinterest to make Gumbas out of the pudding boxes, and I'm pretty sure they had googly eyes, and I don't exactly know how they did the mouth. But I was like, okay, I've done it for the Transformer head, I've done it for Mario head. Let's just print them and cut them out. It was so hard to cut out those tiny little super thin mouth and eyes, so that was very hard. So if you come up with any other idea of how to make them, let me know, so maybe for my future characters I can make and use that technique. But for now I suffered through. I limited my number of Goombas, so I'm like, I can't spend more time on making them. So instead of making all 8, I think I had 2 packs of 4 for the pudding. I think I made only 5, and I'm like, okay, this is enough. The not made cups can be in the back of the stack. This happy birthday sign again came from Amazon, and I think it was like $17 total. So that was super fun, and my son loved looking at it and reading it multiple times. So, and it was super easy to make because it did have the needle to thread through this thread. So yeah, it was nice. And yes, I do have nails in my wall that I'm using all the time, and it's convenient. Oh, and that's right, you guys, this is how I made the loop. You basically make a loop, then bend it down to make bunny ears, and then you put one bunny ear through the other and tighten it, and it makes a loop that you can basically hang onto the hook, onto the nail, or anything that you can hang up your signs or anything you need to. Now on to the cake. This is what we're working with. 2 cakes, gold coins, 2 icings. Again, my son chose those. I had the icing bag, the question mark pattern to cut out, and 2 different fondants. So what we are making here is the square cake with a cutout in the middle that will be covered with the top sheet without the cutout. So basically we're making a cube, even though it did not end up being a cube in my case. What I saw on Pinterest was a cube, because Mario has those blocks that you bonk with your head and like stuff comes out. And in our case, we're going to be making coins. That's what I saw, and I'm like, this is such a cute idea. Obviously you probably could put in other things too, but we used coins. So yes, just gluing it all together with icing. And you guys, I did not realize, again, my first time using fondant, normally it looks like the icing cans are perfect for the amount of cake in one box. But if you are doing fondant, I know that you need more icing to glue it all together and to make it nice and sticky. So yes, next time, if I'm ever using 2 boxes of cake, it will be best to get 3 jars of icing. And here I am back at it after all of the kids and everyone went to bed, because my little girl was teething all day long, and it was a little bit difficult to get things done. But as you can see, I didn't even spend that much time on all of this with all of the 3 children around me, with some homeschool and house chores and like feeding everyone, and I still was able to get it done. So you guys, party decorating and party planning doesn't have to take that much time, and you can bring so much joy to your children. And again, as I told in my last video, I haven't party decorated ever because I was so busy and overwhelmed with life. But trying this out, I see that it's not that much time and that much effort. It's a little bit of effort and time, but not too much. So I think I will be decorating more in the future. But yes, so finishing this up with the fondant to make sure that, the icing, so that the fondant can get stuck to the cake. So cover it up, all smooth it out, and you can tell there's not enough fondant to make it nice and smooth, but it worked, it was fine. And now on to the fun part. I used cornstarch for my dry layer, but I think you also can use powdered sugar. I did not have time to look for it, so I knew where my cornstarch was, so that was easy enough. And then basically follow the instructions on the box for me, which was warm it up in your hands and like mush it around in your hands, and then use the rolling pin to roll it out, and it did say 1/8 of an inch, and I'm like, I have no idea what the thickness is, so I just rolled it out to the size that looked like is going to work for my cube, and it worked out perfectly. There was like a tiny little piece that I feel like was missing a little bit of fondant, but it was fine. And the interesting thing is that it's super flexible. Also, when I will be cutting my corners, I cut off it just a little bit too much, but again, it's so stretchy. It's like edible Play-Doh basically, that it was nice and easy for me to pull it on the sides a little bit and cover up anything that I cut off too much. Now on to my white question mark. I printed it again from googled Mario question mark, printed it, cut it out, and now I'm using a small, way smaller portion of the white fondant to cut it out, and that actually took a lot of time for me to do. And you guys, fondant cakes take a lot of, like, if they're fancy, I can only imagine how much time people spend on them. So yeah, it is an art. So if this is your first time ever, choose something easy so that it's not overwhelming to you. But yes, then I cleaned up and I finished up a little bit of the putting up decorations. And wow, you guys, almost 10 years of marriage, and to this day, I don't fully communicate with my husband. I completely forgot to tell him that I need the balloons blown up by the end of the evening. I did tell him, oh yes, it will be your job to blow them up, and I never actually told him that it's by the end of tonight. So they all went to bed, and I'm like, well, he will be going to work on Friday morning and we will end up without balloons. So I had to do this chore, which was not supposed to be mine, but well, I had to. But yes, remember, for party planning, or I guess anything in life with being a busy mom, try to assign to-do items to other people in your family as much as you can, so that you can get things done more efficiently and quickly. And obviously those should be age appropriate, because otherwise it might be more frustration for everyone rather than help. And now on to the piranha plant, or chomper plant as my boys call it. I was a little bit nervous about this because I have never done anything like this before. So I was very happy because my Costco had big watermelons as well as a set of 2 of these small watermelons, which were, I think, $1 less expensive than one big one. That's why I was like, okay, let me get 2 little ones in case I mess one up. I at least will have one piranha plant made. So it was you guys, obviously the video is sped up and it's way quicker than I was making it, but I was very slow and very careful, and to make sure that I don't cut myself. And you can see, like with the teeth, it was kind of fun because you cut off a very thin layer of peel and then break it off, and then the teeth are exposed. And toothpicks are so nice to use for something like this. I wasn't sure if it's going to work because I wasn't sure if it's going to be strong enough to go through the watermelon peel, but it totally was. And then yes, I made another one to be on the other side of the table. And now we're actually setting up the table and doing all the last touches, which was so exciting, and you will be able to see that the kids were helping me, and yeah, it all turned out so pretty. Here it is, you guys. It all turned out so fun and so colorful and so beautiful. My boys loved the way it looked. Their eyes were so excited and so happy, and they knew about the secret inside the cake. And I also think that sometimes surprises are fun, but if you tell someone what the surprise is, the anticipation of it is almost as exciting as the actual surprise. So I am not very afraid of letting my children know what's coming and have them help me so that they can enjoy the process as well, because the process is very enjoyable too. So that is all, you guys, for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this inspires you to either do a Mario Party for your kids, or maybe for to do something else. If you will be party planning, if you tag me on Instagram stories, I would be so excited to see those. And yes, you guys, on this channel, I talk about tips and tricks and hacks for busy working moms to get more things done and to have a better life and to enjoy the work, the home, the family, and all of this. So you guys, if that sounds interesting to you, subscribe. I would love to hang out with you, and I hope to see you in my next video. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.